Hey, this is James. Can you believe it? We're at week 10. I'm so excited. This Wednesday on the podcast, we will cover, I believe it's verses 18 to 27. This will take us all the way through to finish chapter 15. If you know, we've been covering John 13 through 16. It's called the Upper Room Discourse. I'm just making a mental note to myself. John 15, 18 to 27. I actually have to take the car in to get it fixed tomorrow. So I'm going to work on the lesson tomorrow and then do the entire lesson on Wednesday on the podcast. This section is unique because Eric McTastis was here in Kansas City and spoke at a local church. And so what I did was I bought the biography that he wrote on Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And I think these two things have a relationship with one another, because this passage that we're going to talk about, Jesus tells them, if the world hates you, remember that they hated me first. He says, you are not of the world. I chose you out of the world. Therefore, the world hates you. He's talking about persecution. He's trying to prepare the disciples for what's going to happen in the future. And truth be told, things are going to get worse in America before they get better. We, as believers, if you believe in the sanctity of marriage, if you believe that marriage is between one man and one woman, you are looked at as hate mongers and not open-minded. And it's sad the way things have gone, because truth is, people are doing what they've always been doing, and that is to live their life by their feelings and their emotions rather than by their convictions. It feels good at first to do drugs, but when you get addicted and it ruins your life, that's not good. It feels good to have a extra relationship on the side, but when it destroys your marriage, then you realize that it's adultery. So I think a lot of it has to do with the world's ways make us feel better. And, Hitler wanted to rebuild Germany in his image. And it was all about lifting him up rather than lifting up the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Hitler was not interested in seeing the church thrive. He was more interested in seeing people pay homage to him. And Bonhoeffer called him out on it. And unfortunately, by taking a stand, Dietrich Bonhoeffer paid for it with his life. But that's the difference between cheap grace, and costly grace. Cheap grace says, well, I'm saved, I can do what I want. Costly grace says, Jesus died for me, now I'm going to live for him. And so, that's the kind of stuff that the world doesn't want to hear. That's the kind of stuff that people tend to push away. And maybe that's why this channel is so small. I'm not sure. But we will talk about Upper Room Discourse, week 10. We'll talk about the end of John 15. And I do want to point out something. It's been a really long day. I do want to point out something and encourage you that when we're done with John 13 through 16, and it'll be a few weeks, we're going to go right into the series on the Sermon on the Mount. And I promise this is going to be really good. I brought up Bonhoeffer. He's one of my favorite theologians. Him and Karl Barth And Bonhoeffer felt that Christians should live out the Sermon on the Mount. And so we're going to talk about that. And heck, I may even reread Cost of Discipleship and bring some of that material into this series. I think that would be really, really good. It's going to be exciting. So don't forget, this Wednesday, Live It Out with James Paul White. Look for the podcast. It's on Google Podcasts and Spotify. This is going to be some really good stuff. And, I understand that why the world doesn't like the teachings of Jesus. It goes completely contrary to the way that the world thinks. But ultimately, if you try to satisfy your flesh, if you think that's what's going to make you happy, it will let you down every single time. So, anyway, I'm going to be posting this late because I've got some close to iron still. So, hope you have a great week. Check out the podcast, and I will talk to you later. Love you guys, especially my subscribers.